तप्त जीवनम कविभिडीडितं कल्मषापहं श्रवण मंगलम श्रीमदाततं भुवि गृह्णन्ति ये भुरिदा जनाः. Let us resume our discussion on Sri Ramakrishna's spiritual discourses with his intimate devotees in the house of a Marwari devotee at number 12 Malik Bazar Street in the Badabajar section of North Kolkata on 20th October 1884, 2 days after the Diwali festival of that year, and the devotees were celebrating Annakut ceremony there in this function. They invited Sri Ramakrishna, and Ramakrishna went to the devotees. It was a Monday and it was a busy day in that area, and when he arrived, the devotees received him cordially, took him upstairs, and when he was seated, a lot of discussions were going on, very interesting. First of all, he had a discussion with a Pandit of that household, but the Pandit wanted to go to do his routine spiritual rituals. Though Sri Ramakrishna said that please be seated, but Pandit went on insisting and ultimately left. This also Sri Ramakrishna clarified to the later part of the discussion, that when God comes, He comes in disguise. Pandit wanted to leave God in order to worship God in a mental way when God is physically present. So this is the magic God does when He comes. He does not permit people to know who He is, because that is His purpose, to hide Himself, to do some activities without letting people know who actually He is. So the devotees, as usual, took him as a saintly person, and then the Swami, the host, asked him a very pertinent question. Revered Sir, what is the way for us? This is the question we all have in our mind. Though Sri Ramakrishna broached a topic about the scriptures, that whether the Panini grammar is taught here and what are the preliminary books to be read, logic etc., to understand Bhagavat. Lekin the host, the Marwari devotee, he was a very practical person. He's a businessman. So he is aware how to make use of his time and resources. Now, Master, the recorder of the Gospel, was conversing. घर के मालिक ने आकर प्रणाम किया। ये मारवाड़ी भक्त श्री रामकृष्ण पर बड़ी भक्ति रखते हैं। सी भक्ति इज द वे बाय विच वी कैन रियलाइज गॉड क्विकर। एंड देयर इज ए स्कॉलर देयर, पंडित जी। पंडित जी के लड़के बैठे हुए हैं। श्री रामकृष्ण ने पूछा, क्या इस देश में पाणिनि व्याकरण पढ़ाया जाता है? मास्टर, हाँ जी पाणिनि। श्री रामकृष्ण, हाँ, न्याय और वेदांतो क्या ये सब पढ़ाया जाता है? ही इज ब्रोचिंग a different topic. Now see the attitude of this devotee, the owner of the house. घर के मालिक क्या पूछा? यस स्वामी, महाराज उपाय क्या है बताइए। What is the way? Let us not get into all these details. What is the way for us? That is the main question we must ask. Maharaj upay ki. Now here Sri Ramakrishna gives a point blank answer. He gives 3 ways, straight cut answer. So the 3 ways. Since the disease is very difficult, he gives the 3-way prescription. Nowadays for normal fever we get a tablet, but if it is deeper, the doctor prescribes a series of medicines. Sri Ramakrishna gives 3 medicines for removal of our worldly disease. He says, उनका नाम गुण कीर्तन और साधु संग, उनसे व्याकुल होकर प्रार्थना करना। These are the 3 ways. Chanting the name and glories of God, living in the company of the holy men, and earnestly praying to God. We must remember, ये याद रखना चाहिए, ज़्यादा कुछ लंबा फिर इससे नहीं दिया। Chanting the name and glories of God, तार नाम गुणों कीर्तन करा। नाम गुण कीर्तन और साधु संग और व्याकुल होकर प्रार्थना। Now these prescriptions may sound too simple. He does not give an elaborate method to be followed. You have to spend so much money, you have to go here and there, do so much of penance, तपस करना पड़ेगा, उपवास करना पड़ेगा, तीर्थ दर्शन करना पड़ेगा। कुछ नहीं, जहाँ पर हो बैठ के भगवान का नाम लो, जितने हो सके साधु संग करो और प्रार्थना करो। We all pray, but इसमें एक चीज जोड़ दिया, it must be earnest prayers. व्याकुल होकर प्रार्थना करना पड़ेगा। प्रार्थना is talking to God. आपका दिल में जो चाहा है वो भगवान का व्यक्त करोगे, you express. So whatever desire, प्रार्थना means it's a desire. We want something from God, and that has to be communicated. We tell God, mentally we tell God that we want this. Now mostly what we pray does not come from our heart. We want something within and we ask something else. We come to God and say we want bhakti, we want darshan, we want jnana. Whereas inside you want something else. This is a dichotomy. Bhagavan Antaryamin. Bhagavan knows what is going on inside and what is outside. We need not try to befool God or hoodwink Him. That is our difficult. We think we are very intelligent. भीतर में जो भी हो कुछ भी बता दे भगवान मान लेंगे, ऐसे नहीं होता है. इसलिए बताया जो प्रार्थना करोगे दैट शुड बी आंतरिक, व्याकुल होकर करना पड़ेगा, अर्नेस्ट, भीतर से होना चाहिए. तो प्रार्थना we pray that only for which we feel the necessity. Whatever you do not require, you do not ask. So in order to pray, you must generate that desire, that appetite, that taste, that interest in that prayer. Then only our word and thought get corresponded. We think something and our speech says something else. It's a mismatch, it doesn't work. So the three prescriptions what Sri Ramakrishna gives, they are the enormous message he gives in general. Every saints and seers in every religion, there has been an emphasis on repetition of God's name, Smaran Manan, thinking about the divine. So this Nam Sankirtan, Nam Gunagan, one is repetition of name, another is the singing the glory of God so as to keep the mind engaged in the thought of God. Now when we repeat God's name, what happens? Now this Nam and Nami are Aveda. When we ask, when we repeat, when we call a name, the name is attached with someone who has that name. So he or she is called Nami, जिसका नाम पुकारा जा रहा है. एक है नाम जिसकी शब्द मात्रा है और एक है नामी जो शब्द नहीं है, जो शब्द का वाचक है. It is signifying that. So that has a form. That which doesn't have form doesn't have any particular name. So name and form are interrelated, as if they are connected with a thread. So name is at the one end of the thread and the form is at the other end. So when we repeat a name, then with an invisible thread we are immediately connected with that form, because its image comes in our mind, either immediately or in due course. Because the name belongs to someone who has some impression in our mind, and that is a form. And not only form, there are some qualities. So name induces that image in our mind, which is called dhyana. And dhyana can be of the form and also of the qualities. Rupa dhyan and guna dhyan. When you think of God, His divine qualities, His compassion, His love for truth, His grace, everything comes in one mind. So the prescription is that in whichever way possible, we go on repeating His name. When we repeat His name, then we are connected with His form and qualities, and the mind gets permeated in a holy atmosphere. Till then, we need sadhu sang. When the thought of God gets deepened in our mind, then the name generates the company of God, which is the greatest form of sadhu sang. So till then, we need the company of holy, those who talk about God, discuss about God. And if such people are not available, we keep in touch with holy books and scriptures. Sadgrantha part, there's also a means of company of the holy. We read the message, life, and incidents of great saints and seers, which gives an inspiration in us, creates holistic thoughts. So our mind is occupied with many adverse qualities. In order to remove these qualities, we have to imbibe some good qualities. And the secret is, when we think of God, when we repeat His name, then the goodness of the divine gradually empowers us and we inherit that goodness. Sri Ramakrishna says, if you go on thinking of someone, something, then that thought will permeate into your being and make you according to that thought. If you think of good things, you will become good. If you think of bad things, you will become bad. If you think of worldliness, you will become worldly. If you think of divine, you will become divine. Automatically. It's an automatic transfer. So you don't have to imbibe any quality. You don't have to earn any merit to change the transformation of your mind. Just by repeating the name of God, just by thinking of God, you inherit divine qualities automatically. This is the secret of the repetition of God's name. Nam Mahatmya, greatness of repeating God's name. We have to be very careful to keep our mind focused, concentrated on one particular thing. Concentration. Wherever you go, the secret of success is concentration of mind. Why our mind is not concentrated? Because mind is not at the present moment. Either it is engaged in the thoughts of the brooding over the past or thinking about the future. Our mind is jaded, engaged. The anxiety about the future and repentance for the past. So this going back and forth, past and future, generates unnecessary tension in the mind, which does not permit us to do the work at hand at the present. So we lose the present by unnecessarily inviting past thoughts and future imaginations. So the secret is to try to make the mind focus to the present as far as possible. But the nature of the mind is either it will jump to the past or jump to the future. When you repeat God's name, then it forces your mind to be at the present. Because you are engaged in an activity which is the present activity, like breathing. Instead of repeating God's name, if you focus your mind on breathing, mind will become steady. That is the secret of Vipassana method of meditation. They don't teach you to think of God. They tell you, you concentrate on the breathing process, how your system breathes in and breathes out. That is the most practical thing of your present activity. You have to breathe at the present. What you have breathed at the past has no consequence, and there is no consequence of future breathing. Breathing is a continuous present activity. If you concentrate, then gradually the mind becomes steady. And instead of concentrating on breathing, if you concentrate on the divine thought, then it not only makes the mind steady, it makes the mind pure. The mind has two maladies. It is unsteady, it is impure. Unsteady means chanchal, always vacillating. And what is the impurity? Various desires. Nana prakar ka kamna vasana. So when you think of God, all these desires cease, and only one desire takes over, that is the company of God. And that should be converted into prayer. And that prayer should be intense. The more and more our desires for worldly achievements decrease, the more and more our desire for the company of God increases. The same proportion. And that is possible. The intensity of prayer is possible if we go on repeating His name. And in order to remember, the repetition of name is a valid method. We have to keep in touch with such people who have achieved this result, who are practicing that method. Then only we get inspiration. We forget. So when you see such people who are dynamically practicing that method, that gives an inspiration to do it ourselves. So sadhu sangha, who is a sadhu? Sri Ramakrishna says, Jar mon pran antaratma ishware gato tini sadhu, jini kamini kanchan tyagi tini sadhu. The person whose thought, word and deed is oriented towards God, this person is a holy person. Maybe he is a householder or monk, man and woman, young and old, doesn't matter. This is the qualification. His or her mind is oriented towards God. And the degree of orientation is directly reflected on his attachment towards worldly desires. More and more his mind is oriented towards God, less and less he feels attracted to this world. The attachment ceases. The renunciation comes on its own. He doesn't have to leave the world. World recedes. Attractions for the worldly pleasures recede, becomes less and less. And when you see such a person, we keep in contact with such a person, then that gives an inspiration. It reminds us what to do. All you have to do is to repeat God's name. If you can do it without the company of the holy, you are welcome. If not, be in touch with holy, go in holy places, just not for the sake of it, but just going to a holy place, going to a holy man is not effective unless that is encashed, unless that is implemented in our life by repeating God's name. That is the method. First thing is repeating God's name. In order to do that, we may take the help of the company of the holy, and then the result of our repetition of God will be reflected on the intensity of our prayer. So we have to remember these three methods, the sequence, and make our life extremely successful and enjoyable at every moment. We'll continue further